Morning, guys. How you doing? Got challenged on the 6-question challenge. Over there watching a video where DeEagle was challenged to this same challenge. He had to answer 6 questions, and he tagged his daughter, DeEaglet, who was standing behind the camera, and I commented that I thought that was pretty funny, and of course I got tagged for laughing. I should have known better after my moonwalking challenge when I laughed at Rick over there at Ozark Living Homestead. But anyway, on to the 6 questions. I think maybe I should have had another cup of coffee before I came out here. Wife says maybe I didn't need any more coffee. Laughing at me. Anyway, 6 questions. And before I get started into this, I started giving this some thought. While at work, I drive a truck, so I was trying to ponder over these questions. But then I stopped and thought about it. I wanted to kind of just, off the top of my head, because it's, some of the questions have to do with HTF, so that's kind of going to be a spontaneous thing. I wanted to think of this kind of spontaneously on a couple of the questions. But anyway, enough yapping. What do you think of the terms prepper and survivalist, and do you use them? Yeah, I use them. What do I think of them? I think that sometimes they have misconnotations. Sometimes they're thought of badly. Of course, Doomsday Prepper, put a whole new spin on prepping, which just used to be a natural way of life for many people in rural America. Canning foods, gardening, just preparing for winter, summer. Just prepping. Survivalist. Now that one, I think, has many nuances to it. Depends on how it's used. I think in its truest form, survivalist is like the word winner. A winner. You can't be a winner until the game's over. Once the game's over, you have a winner. To survive something, you have to be in the middle of it. You have to be the survivalist, the survivor. I think many of us, and I'm probably going to step on some toes with this answer, but, we say we're survivalists, but it's more of practicing our survival skills so that if we're ever in that situation, we can be survivors. It's like where I live at here. If I go out on the weekend, I go out and practice survival skills. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm not in any danger. I've taken a cell phone. I've let somebody know where I'm going. I know the area I'm at. Can there become situations where you do become endangered and it becomes a survival situation? Yes, that happens. But for the most part, I don't see what a lot of us do as true survivalists. More as survival skills. And I know I probably stepped on some toes there, I'm sorry, but that's kind of my thoughts. But anyway, when did you realize you were a prepper? It was kind of gradual, and it had kind of 2 phases. About 2013, 2014, I think it was, 2014. Of course, I was watching Doomsday Prepper. I liked some of the ideas that they presented on being prepared. I think that I've always been a little bit of a prepper. Always thought that you should be prepared for stuff. But back to the Doomsday Prepper, that kind of brought that out more, that we need to think of stuff that, may happen in the future, and we should be prepared for it. And I know that that show put a negative connotation on the idea of prepping, and I know a lot of it was edited to make those guys look really bad. Some of them were out there, though. You have to admit that. But I think prepping kind of came about, me personally, though, through my bushcrafting. I started bushcrafting and going out into the woods, and a lot of guys were talking about when they went to the woods, they were practicing their bug out, to go live in the woods if something happened in the SHTF scenario. So, of course I started thinking about that, would I bug out to the woods, and that comes to another question here later, and what would I need to know when I got there? And then I started thinking about the bugging in situation. So that kind of led into prepping. So like I said, it was kind of a gradual thing, and I would say that happened about 2014, and a kind of an outgrowth of my bushcrafting. Okay, what is your favorite film or TV series? Okay, don't watch a lot of TV. Used to, when I was a kid, I was always watching TV, loved TV. So I'll stick with what's been my latest favorite. Alone, of course. I really liked Alone. Rooting for my buddy there, Larry. Just saw the last episode. If you haven't seen it yet, I will not put a spoiler in this, even though it's already been shown. But, oh, that's one of the koi splashed over there. I would have to say Walking Dead, which a lot of people have already said, but Walking Dead really took me by surprise. Really liked that series. I would say the first two seasons, though, were the best. And that really got me interested in the show, and that kind of also fed into the prepping idea. You know, being prepared for something like that. Favorite film? Don't watch a lot of movies. Used to, again. If I had to, some of my favorite movies are Kelly's Heroes from the 70s with Clint Eastwood. Oh man, they had a bunch of stars in that. Donald Sutherland, Dom DeLuise. But anyway, it's an old 70s World War II movie, kind of a comedy and a World War II movie. 2001: A Space Odyssey. 36 Hours by James Garner. That's another World War II kind of a thriller, mystery. That is a good movie. Never seen 36 Hours? Go check it out. James Stewart, some of his old movies. Oh my God, I just thought of three of them. Rear Window, Vertigo, and Harvey. Got the 6-foot record. But James Stewart, some of his old movies are some of my favorites. This may be a different list that I got. I copied this somewhere else. I don't know if this is the same list that DeEagle had challenged me with, so I'm sorry about that. Because, if I remember right, she asked about reading also. And reading, I don't do a lot of reading. If I had to say that I had a favorite author or favorite books, it'd be anything written by C.S. Lewis. I've read about everything he ever wrote. Just love his books, stuff by C.S. Lewis. But anyway, bug in or bug out? I think that's a case-by-case scenario. And, you know, I answered DeEagle's, or actually DeEagle's video by saying bug in until you have to bug out. And that, I do believe that. I think you want to try and stay in as much as you can. I don't think you want to take off before, you know, prematurely, before you need to. Going with that, you sure don't want to stick around any later than you have to, but I think that's going to go, you know, case-by-case scenario. If you're an older person, not skilled in the woods, bad health conditions, bugging out may not be the correct thing for you. You may have to be prepared to bug in, you know, and deal with what comes. You may be living in an area that bugging in a sense, is bugging out. You are in a rural area, you're defensible, you know, you can defend your ground, you have the preps to keep you going, so you can bug in and bug out at the same time, in a sense. I'm thinking more when SHTF hits, I think there's going to be a time when we have to run to the woods, or run to the hills, so to speak. But I think there's also going to be a time when it's more like the Great Depression of the 30s. We're going to have to learn how to survive in our own homes. And sadly, many aren't going to know how to do that. be able to survive in their own home. If you could learn one skill, matrix style. Okay, I'm showing myself here. I didn't know what matrix style was. So, had to do a little investigating on that, and I saw a Massachusetts Prepper video on his 6-question challenge, and so I kind of got an idea of what matrix style was from his video. I guess that's learning something instantly. Didn't really give that a lot of thought. I'm kind of torn between being able to defend myself regardless of the attack would be one. But the other would be, if it was a bug out situation, to know how to provide food for myself and my family instantly. Be able to know how to find wild edibles or procure game. Okay, the last question. Again, I started to think about this, and then I decided to just do this off the cuff, which actually goes against the whole idea of this. It says, if you had to take off in an SHTF situation, what 5 items would you carry? Okay, if you were truly a prepper or survivalist, yeah, an SHTF may be a last minute, grab your stuff and go, but you wouldn't wait till that time to stop and go, oh, wow, what should I take? You would have the stuff prepped, ready to go. And I have my items, but if I had to say I'm grabbing 5, I didn't really give that much thought, which makes me think I really need to give that more thought, and, or, you know, of course I just said it, but I need to give more consideration. If I just had to grab 5 items and run, what would they be? Of course I would grab a knife, because that has so many uses, from defense to making shelter to cleaning game. Many, many uses. I would grab some sort of shelter, whether it be like Massachusetts Prepper said, a poncho, a tarp, something like that. My third item would be my fire kit. And I know that somebody could say, well, that's several items. Well, I keep my fire kit in one pouch, so it would grab it and go. I've heard some talking about a vehicle. That would be nice to add into the 5 items, but I'm thinking that I'm not going to count that, because you may not have that situation. You may be actually on foot and running. You may not be able to grab your vehicle, so I'm not going to count that one. Number 4. So I got the fire kit, I got a knife, I got a shelter, a cup. And that one I hadn't thought about, and I think it was Massachusetts Prepper that mentioned that one too. Sorry, like I said, I thought of his ideas, I kind of agreed with. A cup, because you're going to need something to procure water. You're going to need something to cook in. Many uses, a cup. And the 5th item, you guys might think this kind of strange, and I'm torn between the two. Either some kind of money stashed that I would have stashed somewhere, that if I had to go, I would have money to take care of me, but I don't know that that would be the one I would take. 5th, I would think of maybe a small thumb drive with all my personal documents copied onto it. Yeah, I know this is an SHTF scenario, but if you get through that situation and it's short-lived and you have to reestablish yourself, society gets set back up, it may be handy to have them documents with you. I know that probably doesn't fit in with knife and cordage and shelter and all this other stuff, you know, typical bushcrafting stuff, but I think it's something you need to think about, it having ready to go and having your kit. But anyway, I'm probably laboring this too much, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm supposed to pick out 3 people. This is the part I'm always hesitant on. But I'm going a little bit different. You know, I looked through my list of people, and I had some great bushcrafters, survivalists, woodsmen that I would have liked to have called on just to hear their answers. But I thought I wanted to go a different route on this. So the first one I went with, calling out a guy that I met once here, and he lives fairly close, but has different videos that I really like. Kind of, you'll just have to go watch him, and I'll leave a link. Funny videos. His name is Stewie6096. Stewie, I'm calling you out. I want to know your answer to the sixth question. Be interesting to hear what you think. Another one totally different is Pecan Corner. She does a lot of cooking, her and her husband. Not a survivalist video or channel at all, not a bushcrafting video channel at all. So I would be interested to hearing what somebody from a totally different genre of a community from YouTube would think about these questions. And the last one, again, I'm calling somebody out. A buddy of mine hasn't made any videos yet. Kyle C. Yeah, you know who you are. I want you to do a video, buddy. This will be your first video. I'd like to hear your answers on that. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope I didn't beat this to death too much. Get out there and check out some of those other videos on the 6-question challenge if you come across them. Get over and watch DeEagle's channel and DeEaglet. Check them out. Have a good day. Thanks.